In this video, I'm going to show you how to create an environment portrait. This is my finished project. Your project will look something similar to this. So to begin with, you're going to choose one of your portraits that you took in class in front of the white screen and open it in Photoshop. I chose this one right here, 8179. So just click it and drag it over to Photoshop so it will open. Here's my portrait. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take the background layer and drag it down to the Create New Layer button so that I have a copy. That way, if I mess up, I'll have a backup. Next thing that I'm going to do is open up in the Adjustments panel Levels and check to see if the levels look good. And in this case, the black looks good, but the white doesn't. So I'm going to click on the white slider and drag it in till just the beginning of the information starts on the graph right here. So you can see that that brightened up the colors in the portrait. So I am going to be cutting this out, so I want to merge the levels with the background copy. So on the keyboard, I'm going to press Control E. The next thing that I'm going to do is get the lasso tool, which is the third one down from the top, and select the polygonal lasso. So I'm going to, on the keyboard, push Control plus to make my face a lot larger so that I can see what I'm doing. You can also use the zoom tool. So with the lasso tool, I'm just going to start clicking, and I'm going to err on the side of cutting outside my flesh color of my face a little bit and into the background. So as I go around my face, when I come to something like this little eyebrow that's sticking out, I'm going to go ahead and cut around that. It makes it look more realistic. Now I'm going to hold down the space bar, and you'll see that it's going to convert the lasso tool into the hand tool so that I can click and drag up. When I let go of the space bar, it converts back to the lasso tool. So watch when I go around this curve right here. I'm going to want to go slow and click close together so that I get a curve instead of straight lines. If you make straight lines, it makes the corners look pointy and jagged, and it doesn't look realistic. So you should take your time to go really slow and do a good job when you go around curves with the lasso tool so that you don't get little pointies. Now, the other thing is, if you click too fast, if you accidentally double click, it will ruin your selection and you'll have to start all over again. Now, you don't actually have to outline your whole portrait all at once. You can just do little sections at a time, and sometimes that's a little easier. So I'm just going to kind of connect the first point and the last point together to make a complete selection, and then I'm going to hit delete. And you can see the background copy behind it. So I'm going to deselect that, and here on the face where there's like little wisps of hair and whatnot, I'm just going to go ahead and cut those off. Down here, I'm not going to try to outline those. When I get down here to this scarf that I have around my neck, I'm going to very carefully outline all of these little bumps, and all of that attention to detail makes this look more realistic. However, so you don't have to sit there and watch me, I actually already did this, so I'm going to load this selection. You won't be doing this step. I'm just doing this to save time, so this video isn't too long. So here is the selection that I made, and all that I'm going to do is click delete. Then I'm going to hit Control D to deselect. I'm going to go back to my folder and get my waterfall picture, drag that over here, and click to separate the tabs. Then I'm going to take the move tool, click on the waterfall, and drag it over to the picture. Here we go. Now I'm going to take this layer and put it underneath my portrait, and then I'm going to start moving this around until it's in the right position. And I can already tell that the image is too big, so I'm going to have to go to Show Transform Controls, hold down Shift so that I don't distort the image, and I'm going to make it smaller until I get it to be approximately the right size. So I really like the way this waterfall, the way this rock here kind of lines up with my cheekbones, and this waterfall looks like it's going down my neck. I think that's really cool. So that's where I'm going to choose to position the waterfall. Once I'm done making the changes, I'm going to go ahead and click the check mark. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is that this background looks kind of brown or yellow, so I'm actually going to cut that out too, just because I think it will look the best in the end. So same thing back on my background layer. I'm going to get the magnifying glass, enlarge this, grab the polygonal lasso tool, and just start going along the edge of my sweater here, and I'm going to cut this out, the whole entire outline, and then eventually I'm going to put a white background on it. So I'm going to go down, cut this out a little section at a time. And again, to save time, I already did that, and so I'm going to load that selection, and then I'm just going to push delete. And you can see that that made my background or my waterfall pop up too. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on the waterfall layer and click delete. Now the last thing that I'm going to do is make a brand new layer, layer 2. I'm going to drag it underneath everything, and I'm going to paint it white. So I'm going to go over here where the gradient tool and the paint bucket are, get the paint bucket. I don't want black, so I'm going to swap that so I have white, and then click it with white. So that is my finished portrait. A little bit rough. I can see where I messed up here a little bit when I was trying to recreate this, but in my final you can see that everything matches up really nicely. Everything's cut out really well. So that's about it. You're going to end up with a white layer for your background, a layer for your environment, and then a layer for the rest of your body, your hair, and your shoulders and whatnot. So make sure that you save that as a PSD, and that's it for now.